Sometimes when people hear this particular gospel readings or the readings from the first and second reading that we've heard today, many people may be thinking right now, here we go again. Father's going to talk to us about how important it is to let go of material things and start concentrating on things of heaven. Let's just make sure he doesn't talk about money, because if he does, I'm going to cut my collection half if he talks about money. And also some people sometimes tune out the preacher because of they know the homily, they know the Gospels, they've heard it so many times. And I love those people at Mass. They always look at their watch right before I start preaching. I'm not going to be looking at anybody, but there's always those people that, here we go again, the same kind of theme. So many times when I preach on this topic, people will tune me out because some people just say, that's why I don't go to church, because all the priest does is talk about money. However, the truth is, most of us in the church, we have plenty, more than we could ever need, myself included. So this message is a tough one to hear and to live out. However, this message of today's gospel is needed. The thing is, Jesus talked about greed and reminding people about the dangers of putting too much importance on material things many times. And he talks about this in the Bible. One of the main topics that he talks about all the time when it comes to concentrating too much in this world and not other things of heaven. Today's gospel is no exception. All three readings today emphasize the importance of the things of heaven. The responsorial psalm today even reminds us not to tune out today's message. If today you hear his voice, harden not your heart. Jesus clearly sees the importance of expressing his wisdom on this subject. So, we all know the story. A guy comes to Jesus and asks him to settle a dispute between him and his brother regarding their inheritance. Jesus chooses not to answer the question. Instead, he said, "Take care to guard against all greed. For though one may be rich, one's life does not consist of possessions." It is as if this guy touched a nerve in Jesus, because Jesus goes on to tell a parable about a rich man whose land produced a bountiful harvest. And Jesus continues, "But God said to him, 'You fool, this night your life will be demanded of you, and the things you have prepared, to whom will they belong?'" So two questions are called for us to reflect on this morning. Why do we see the temporary things of life so important to hold on to? And why don't we do the same with the things that last forever, like the things of heaven? There's a story about these people who are trying to trap monkeys, and you may have heard this story before. And so the monkeys were too high. They went on the trees really high to capture, and so they decided to go ahead and put a bottle. And on this bottle, it's a wide bottle, but in the mouth of the bottle, it's a lot narrower. So they tied this bottle to the tree, and then they would put food in this bottle, and it would be in the bottom of the bottle, along with some kind of shiny object. Well, what would happen, then those people would leave for a couple of hours, and then when they came back, there was a monkey who had his hand in the bottle. And the thing is, he grabbed on to all of the food and the shiny objects, and no matter if they were going to be captured, no matter if they were going to be killed, they would not let go of the food they had grasped in their hands. And they could have pulled out their hand, but the top of the bottle was narrow, so they would not let go. All they had to do was go and take their hands out, and they can run. Pero que tercos, how stubborn. They held on to the food and they would not let go, and so they got captured. They were stubborn monkeys. They would never let go. And they wouldn't figure it out, that in order to be free, they needed just to let go of something. And this can be the same for you and me. We cling to things, and you know what I'm talking about. We hold on for dear life. We hold on to people. We hold on to attitudes. We hold on to grudges so tightly that we are unable to be truly free. We hold on to not forgiving. And God created us to be truly free. So the question is, what are you and I clinging to? What are you and I holding on to that weighs our soul down? What do we need to let go of? Now, don't get me wrong. There are things in this life, including some of our material possessions, that are not bad in themselves. In fact, they're often good. And we should be thankful to God for having them. That's why we're here in this church right now, giving thanks to God first. Secondarily are our prayers. But we give thanks to God for everything we have and that He's given us. And we know that. However, we also know deep down that the things of this world can't really bring us true happiness, can't really bring us true joy, because they're not eternal. And yet we do accumulate more and more all the time. Our houses become bigger. Our garages become bigger. We store so much stuff in different places throughout the city, in storage rooms, storage facilities. Why does this stuff have so much power over us? Why does this stuff have so much control over us? And we know what the problem is, but we won't admit it. Some of these things make their way into our minds and our hearts and our souls. For whatever reason it is, these things, these attitudes make their ways in our minds and in our hearts and then in our souls. And many of these things don't really mean much to God. Should they really mean that much to us? And so as I was preparing this homily, I was asking myself, what am I hanging on to? What do I need to let go of in order to be free? To what am I attached to? To what do I have a passion for that I invest in, that I put in all the time, and I really don't need it? I could be using that money for something else. And there's two things that immediately came to mind. My Star Trek collection, and it's a collection, they're not dolls, okay? And my coin collection. Those are the two things, and I even have a room at my mom's house that's called the Star Trek room. Everyone in the family knows it's the Star Trek room, and it's filled from wall to wall. My brother's here, right, Bobby, the Star Trek room? I told him. So which makes me think, maybe I need to give a few things away instead of just talking and talking and talking. And I need to do it precisely because I don't want to. I really don't want to. I love my Star Trek collection. I love my coin collection. If it's easy to give away or let go of something that doesn't mean that much to us, then why do we do it? Just go to any rummage sale and you'll see the proof of that. I don't really want to give anything away. However, for my spiritual health, to practice what I preach, I need to do that. And so we have our fundraiser coordinator here. And so I'm going to give to the next auction. I'm sorry, it's really emotional for me. The complete uncirculated bicentennial silver coin and currency set. Mira que pretty. That's why I like it. And then you have all the coins down there. Okay, I'm donating this to the church. Not OPH, Holy Family. So, Lori, here it is. And I do this to be held accountable. Because if we're going to give something that we love away, we have to be held accountable and not play mind games, right? One of my favorite Star Trek, it's a certified Star Trek, the first 10 posters of the first 10 movies of Star Trek, along with the cells, the Star Trek cells of the film, and then you plug it in, and it lights up really pretty. And so those are the two things I'm going to give away. Now, put an underlying thing here. I don't want you to give me anything. If you notice, I never have a birthday party in the church. I never have a birthday. It's not about me. It's about us. So some of y'all are really kind-hearted people, and you'll say, "My father gave it away. I'm going to give him something for Christmas for Star Trek. I'm going to give him something." No. Don't want any of that, because then you're feeding into my greed. Now, the family can, but not anyone else. And so, this is just a start. The real stuff I need to let go of are my attitudes of pettiness, envy, selfishness, pride. Because Renee has a better Star Trek collection than I do. How about something else? That's going to have to be next if I really want to grow in my spiritual life. If I truly want to be free. What might you need to let go of? What's holding you back in just letting go and being free? At this time, I can say I don't really feel that free yet because I still have my stuff. But I know in time I'm on the right track. What things has a little too much of your heart? What things have a little too much of your heart? Like the monkey with his hands in the bottle, we often go through life with our fist closed, holding on to something that's not good for us, not lasting, not eternal. And yet the spiritual life is all about letting go, being vulnerable, giving to others, reaching out, being self-emptying. Can we do the same? Do we have the courage to open our hands and release all that is holding us back and weighing us down? It's been over 2 years since we've had the pandemic. And if you notice, we have this picture here of St. Peter drowning under the water. And St. Peter doesn't have his hands reaching up to grab gold or to grab a buoy or to grab a life preserver. He picks up his hands so that he will not drown in this world, to be saved by Jesus Christ. But the only way that we can be saved by Jesus Christ is to open our hands and hold on to Him. Our empty hands, our hands that have worked to the bone, our hands that have calluses, our hands that are bleeding at times, our hands that hurt. Do not hold on to the things of the world, but we're here to hold on to Jesus. And if not, it's easy to drown in this world if we don't have Jesus and our hearts set on the things of heaven. Amen? And so we'll start the auction right now for the coins, $25, $25, $25.